Audiotree Live, where you discover your next favorite band. My name is FINGY, and today we have Ken Yates in the studio, exploring themes of gratitude, self-awareness, characteristic precision, and emotional depth. Yates invites listeners to sit within themselves peacefully. Take it away.
1, 2, 3. Find the words to tell you how I think, and in typical fashion we're delivered stoically. Enough with the small talk, tell me what's your biggest fear? Is it saying I love you in a voice that's loud and clear? Singing buckets to rain, exaggerated Dylan voice. Freaking me out, playing guitar with double joints. Say you're living apart, a town that's one big fashion crime. Is it bringing you down to sit and watch the world get high? I'm not asking for a friend, I'm just wondering if you'd be there at the cataclysmic end. Sucking the life out of your broken family tree. There's a secondhand smoke that's burning you up third degree. Yeah, I'm ratting me out, I'm never good at keeping lies, especially ones you tell yourself to sleep at night. I'm not asking for a friend, I'm just wondering if you'd be there at the cataclysmic end. Come the celestial event, I can tell you I would be there at the cataclysmic end. To pretend every person is your friend. Take a brick into the window, build the wall back up again. It's running me ragged to believe you be pulling up your sleeves. It's running me ragged, it's running me ragged. I'm not asking for a friend, I'm just wondering if you'd be there at the cataclysmic end. Come the celestial event, I can tell you I would be there at the cataclysmic end. 'Cause you're running me ragged,
Hey guys, we want to share something interesting with you about our channel. Over 80% of you who are watching this video right now are not subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button down below and we'll keep bringing in all the best bands from around the world to play for you. Okay, back to the show. Beauty. Ken, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, lovely to see you. Before we get into the thick of it, I'd love to start right at the beginning.
Sure.
Why do you do music? How did it enter your life?
Oh boy, that's a big question. I don't know. I think my dad he had like an old guitar lying around, and like my parents put me in piano lessons like every parent does, and then I think one day I was sort of like, I'd like to learn that instead. And yeah, so started just kind of picking up the guitar and playing. You know, my dad was always playing like Neil Young around the house and stuff, so I was always kind of into that, and so kind of started that way, and yeah, kind of branched out from there. I mostly just played guitar for the first, well until I was like 20. I didn't write my first song till I was right around 20. So I was kind of a late bloomer to songwriting. But once I sort of found that world, then that's when I was like, okay, I think this is what I want to do.
Yeah, interesting. Do you think it's because you were introduced to music in more of a infrastructural level rather than a self-creative level?
Yeah, maybe. I think I just, like, as a kid, I didn't really have, like, music friends. I sort of just, like, sat alone in the basement playing guitar, and I just, I loved it. I knew I loved it, but I didn't really see, like, a future in it, really. It was just sort of something I really, really loved. And then, yeah, once I went off to college, I actually did end up going to a music school, and that's where I sort of met the music community that kind of inspired me to actually kind of pursue it as a career.
Yeah, Berkeley, no?
Yeah, Berkeley. I try not to like advertise that, 'cause I feel like
Right.
It's like not the coolest thing to say these days.
That's
but
funny. No, I mean, listen, we just had Berkeley kids in, and I'm like, why are all the goats there? But it's
yeah,
a decent
well, it
school.
was perfect for me because. Again, I didn't really have a vision of how I want. Like, I knew I just loved music, but I didn't know how that looked as an actual career. So I sort of needed that like incubation period there. Whereas like I feel like a lot of musicians that go to Berkeley are already like they really know the direction they want to go, and they're already sort of like on their way. And for me, it was just like I spent 3 years at Berkeley before I wrote a song there. So
Wow, yeah.
I kind of just like went to a songwriting class on a whim. So
Yeah.
for me, like I was like one of the rare people there that just like really needed that space,
Right.
Yeah.
And I've read that, it took a while to develop and find your own sound. Hearing the backstory makes more sense. How did you not, shall we say, crumble under the parallel pressure of seeing other people maybe doing what you ultimately ended up doing? How did you stay true to your own timeline within finding that sound?
I think it was really just like a complete lack of confidence of even thinking that I could pursue songwriting as a thing. Like I didn't think I was any good at it, and I wasn't any good at it when I started doing it. And then I was seeing all these other great songwriters, some people who I'm friends with now that were just, I was just like, oh my God, like that, I'd love to do that. And eventually, my songwriting started getting better, and those people that I was striving to be started kind of accepting me into their circles, and that's when I was like, okay, I think I've found the people I've always wanted to find, because I grew up in a town in Ontario, London, Ontario, and it didn't have like a huge music scene when I was growing up. So it was just like I really needed to find that group of people,
right?
And so it just took me a while to find them, I think. And once I did, I was like, oh, okay, this is these are my people. This is where I belong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Ironic, because then eventually you did end up moving back to Canada.
Yeah.
And you still take your trips to the U.S. And you said something in an interview that intrigued me, how you have the ability to engage with the machine when you come out to the U.S., do the thing, and then go back to Canada, incubate. What is your relationship with the machine? How do you cope with it?
Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of just moved back to Canada because I love living in Canada. I feel like that's so backwards for most Canadians, because I feel like most Canadians, like, they want to get out of Canada and they want to move to the U.S. They want to move to the music hubs.
Yeah.
And I'm just sort of like, I just live there because I like living there.
Yeah.
And, it's easy to get anywhere, from where I live. And so I go to those music hubs when I need to, but I'm really kind of grateful
for the space where I live now, and I think that just was a byproduct of getting older. I'm in my mid-30s now, and it was just sort of like, it's okay to live somewhere just because you want to live there, not because it has anything to offer you, right? Because I did really I lived in New York for a while, but I did kind of mess around with the thought of moving to LA and moving to Nashville just because it feels like you sort of have to at a certain point.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of hit this point in my life where I was just like, I just want to live where I want to live, and we'll make it work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I admire that perspective. It's a battle that I face, and I'm sure a lot of musicians face, where it's like, well, if this is your calling, you should be there and be logical about it. But I do think there's a lot of value in leading with your liking and allowing everything to fall in line.
Yeah, and it certainly helped. I think it's helped with my songwriting, and I think again, it's just a byproduct of getting older and getting through what I call the desperation years, where it's my 20s were just my desperation years, where I was just desperate for any opportunity, and I would go anywhere for anything, and I would say yes to everything. And then that starts to dwindle, where you just start figuring out your priorities and what actually makes you happy, and you just start the scale kind of just changes, right?
Yeah.
So I think that just kind of naturally happens, but yeah. I think that for me, that's when once I got out of those desperation years, that's when I think the music started improving.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Cheers to that. Shall we play some more improved music?
Yeah, let's do it.
Quiet enough, you can hear the road sign beside your dream house saying it was sold. Working all day means the stores are always closed, so I guess let's just go home. Copy of your keys so you never forget. Watched you growing up on a video cassette. Vest over your dress shirt, looking kinda stoned, and using the dirt as an ashtray. My happiness is all up and down again. My head is in a constant spiraling. My sadness is a road I'm circling. My love for you's a straight line. Jewelry in your heart and landing on your mind. Golden hour sunset is leaving you blind. Lo and beholding, gonna miss a turn, and I guess you'll never learn. My happiness is all up and down again. My head is in a constant spiraling. My sadness is a road I'm circling. in solidarity. I keep the lights off when inside to preserve the natural light. It's the halogen severity. These little movies in my mind, they're still playing all the time, but you know all the darkest corners of myself. And if I'm lucky when I'm done, I'll have an audience of one. That's what we call total cinema, baby. You said, man, it's been so nice leaning into archetypes. I'm not missing out on anything. And in the theater of living, there's a superficial prison of the things we try not to recall. These little movies in my mind, they're still playing all the time, but you know all the darkest corners of myself. And if I'm lucky when I'm done, I'll have an audience of one. That's what we call total cinema, baby. These little movies in my mind, they're still playing all the time, but you know all the darkest corners of myself. And if I'm lucky when I'm done, I'll have an audience of one. That's what we call total cinema, baby. That's what we call total cinema, baby. That's what we call total cinema, baby.
Lovely sentiment that song is, man.
Oh, thank you.
It's beautiful. Why was this one the title track for your latest LP?
I mean, I think it just describes most of the theme of this record, which was kind of what we were talking about before, which was just sort of like moving into this different part of your life where you're starting to care less about, I don't know, care a little bit less about yourself and
Yeah.
more about the rest of the world around you, I think.
Yeah.
It's and this song kind of sums it up as to me as like we're all kind of living in our own little movie sometimes, and sometimes it's nice to be in somebody else's movie.
Yeah. And you know, the power of having just the one perfect person, you know, be the final one there to witness you. Having someone witnessing your life, someone that you care deeply about, is such a profound experience to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about at the end of the day, right? And you're lucky if you just have that one person, right? Like that's the goal. So yeah.
And I'm under the impression that this project was a bit of a pivot in your writing, wherein you were writing from more personal experiences as opposed to your previous projects, which were more of a observer point of view. Was that a daunting experience, finally putting, your heart on your sleeve in that way?
Not particularly. I think I just finally sort of had the life experience to write about. I think for my first few records, it's just like you just don't quite have that life experience, so you end up drawing from different inspirations, and you end up writing kind of other people's stories, and then eventually it's just started to pivot more towards my own story. And like I feel like every song I write kind of starts with a grain of truth, and then it might evolve into something different. But yeah, with this record in particular, I feel like I would start with the grain of truth, and it would stay truthful.
Yeah.
Like I try to say, like I try not to let the truth get in the way of a good song. Like if it wants to go somewhere else, I will. I'll pivot. But I think again, it's just like having a little more life experience to draw from.
Yeah.
I think inspired a lot of these new songs.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea too, not letting the truth get in the way. I was thinking about it on the car ride here today, of the balance between creating music from your own head and heart versus being a channel for a creative source. And sometimes opening that channel maybe leads you away from your logical truth into something that maybe you don't understand, but is something that's supposed to be shared. Do you feel as though you have that experience?
Yeah, sometimes I find myself just kind of writing stuff that I don't really understand what it means, and then it's kind of like, well, we're just gonna figure it out later what it means. And it's still coming from your subconscious, so you can find a way to apply your own meaning to it. And but the cool thing is just like I try not to over-explain what the songs are about, because I do feel like people sort of place their own truth on it, right? And they bring their own life experience to it. So like I don't want to like ruin that for them sometimes.
Yeah.
When they think it's about a certain thing and it's not, like I don't want to spoil
Crush
that.
the dreams.
Yeah,
Exactly. And outside of music, what makes you whole? I know we were just talking about your new father.
Oh yes,
Very exciting.
Well, I have a child, so that
Yes.
definitely is a big part of it. Yeah, I got a 6-month-old at home.
Yeah.
So that has made touring really interesting this year. I've just been doing like 2 or 3 shows in chunks and then going back home, and so it's been a grind, but it's been awesome. Honestly, it's been amazing. So that's basically my life right now. It's just tour and then parent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my wife and I we're very Canadian. We spend a lot of time outside. We're very, very outdoorsy, and I feel like I prioritize that a lot. I mean, that has a lot to do with why I live where I live. I sort of need that isolation. I think is good for me.
Time, touching grass
the outside time. Exactly. Yeah, I need that. I need that to sort of come back to doing this. The grind of all this. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we close this session out?
Let's do it. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inside of my eyelids, building an empire from my sadness, a haunted house of selfishness. There's ghosts in my inventions, other vampires in my door. You were sleeping in the back of a spinner van at the Capitol Ballroom, living that life still while you can. Running on gas station coffee and still dreaming pretty lofty. Killing strangers with your kindness, talking shit behind their
some daddy issues. Criminal negligence, that holy water's cold when it first hits you. Everyone in here's making problems, hoping someone else will solve them. The greatest resolutions never make it home from the bar. And I'm in Toronto writing love songs for other cities, subliminal messaging myself to find somewhere that better suits me. You say that everywhere's the same, just some roads with different names, but you gotta keep some romance for the second part of life. And it's getting loud in here, I think I'll go. It's getting loud in here, I think I'll go.
Ken, Sophia, Theo, thank you so much for being here. That was beautiful.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Thank you to our crew for capturing this. We can't do it without you. And thank you for watching. By the time you are watching this, it's already on all streaming services. So Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, they are there. Tap in. And if you have made it all the way to the end of this video, we would greatly appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our YouTube channel. My name is FINGY. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
All right, so you guys want to do it for real now?